Have you ever had the feeling that something was wrong but you couldn't figure out what the problem was? I have that feeling at home, and it's driving me crazy. I suspect that Amy, my wife of 7 years, is cheating on me, Tom Matson. I talked to her about our relationship, and she assured me that everything was fine. I even hired my unemployed cousin to follow her around for a couple of weeks. I put him in a rental car and gave him a good video camera to film her. He did a good job and filmed her daily life, but found no evidence of infidelity. My job as a senior project manager at a large bank requires me to spend all day at the office. I rarely travel for work and never work on weekends. I rarely have to stay late, so Amy has never complained that I spend too much time away from home. I am a 29-year-old senior project manager and earn a good salary, so we have a nice house and cars. We don't have children yet, but we lead a fairly active lifestyle. We socialize with several groups of friends, including neighbors, my colleagues, and old friends from school. We both love cycling, so we sometimes meet up with a few other couples who are members of our cycling club. In short, we are like a fairy tale couple. I racked my brain trying to think of a reason why Amy would cheat on me, but I couldn't. We both said we wanted to wait until we were 30 to have children because we wanted to be financially secure. Besides, we both wanted to have fun and enjoy each other's company before spending 20 to 25 years raising children. Amy is about 6 months younger than me and works as a dog groomer. Her fine arts degree didn't help her find a job, so I suggested she start her own business doing what she loves. She loves dogs. We have 2, so we bought a special trailer that she hooked up to her SUV, and voila, she became a dog groomer. She has several dozen regular clients and visits their homes once a month to groom their pets. Her trailer has heating and air conditioning, hot water, a vacuum cleaner, a hairdryer, and everything else she might need to care for dogs. Like us, some of her clients have a place to wash their pets next to their garage, so she uses that instead of her trailer. Amy has a small square device that allows her to accept credit cards, but it seems like she gets most of her money tips in cash. I know this because I helped her with her accounting and filling out tax forms. So what makes me think she's cheating? Hell if I know. We have a great sex life. Amy is willing to do pretty much anything my twisted mind can come up with, and I can't remember ever denying her anything. We spend almost every evening and weekend at home. We're always together, riding bikes, going to the gym, so when would she have time to cheat? The only time we really spend apart is when we're at work, so I hired my cousin to follow her for 2 weeks. He really surprised me by bringing me a full report of her activities, including the time, place, and video recordings of her arrival and departure from each meeting and everything that happened between them. There were no unexplained gaps in time. All of her time was fully documented. I even cross-checked her receipts with her meeting calendar, and everything looked right. But still, there was something in her eyes, in her smile, in her voice. Something wasn't right, and it had been going on for about 6 months. I just couldn't accuse her of anything because I had no proof. Maybe I was just being paranoid or going crazy. I watched her when we were with friends, and she mostly talked to other women. I never saw her whispering to another man. She never disappeared at parties or left with someone for an hour to buy beer or ice cream. I tried not to pay attention to my observations of my wife, but Brad, one of my old friends, noticed it at the last big party. "Tom, man, give her some space. You won't let that poor girl get more than 2 feet away from you. What the hell is that, man?" Embarrassed, I asked him to lower his voice. "Brad, I suspect she's cheating on me, so I'm trying to keep an eye on her." "Are you kidding? Amy? You think Amy is cheating on you? You're out of your mind, man. Amy would never flirt with anyone at this party." "How do you know? How can you be so sure she hasn't slept with one of these jerks?" "Get ready, dude. Half the guys here are hitting on her because she's so damn sexy. Look at her. Slim, toned, nice breasts, great ass, gorgeous legs, cute face, and a smile that lights up the room. Dude, you're lucky." "Okay, look. All these guys are hitting on her, so which one of them got lucky, huh?" "None of us. Yes, you bastard. I said us because I hit on her every chance I get. She never does anything, just laughs in my face. The other guys say the same thing. She always acts like it's a joke and just laughs at us. God, what I would give to be you for just one night. God, Brad, do I have to kick your ass to keep you away from my wife? I'm telling you, idiot, you don't have to. She's unavailable. That's what you say, but I know there's something going on between you two. Listen, Tom, I love you like a brother. But if you screw this up and make her so mad that she dumps your stupid ass, I'll stomp on your face until I get to her door, running past all these bastards. I raised my hands. Okay, I was being an idiot. I love her with all my heart and I don't want to lose her. Please, Brad, don't say anything to anyone. I'll try to fix this. Brad laughed and slapped me on the back. Go home and treat her right or I'll come after you. That sobered me up. That night, I drove Amy home and she raped me unconscious. I decided I was just wasting my energy and driving myself crazy for no reason. All my investigations had led nowhere, and she still treated me like a king. I told myself I wasn't going to play detective anymore and that I needed to start trusting my wife. Emily. When I arrived at Brad's for my monthly Buster haircut, I immediately noticed that he was nervous. Is something wrong? How's Tom after the party? Is he still acting strange? No, it's only been a few days, but he seems fine. Why are you asking about Tom? I saw him looking at you at the party. I got a little carried away and started teasing him for spying on you. What? You idiot! Now his dumb cousin is going to be watching me. No, I pretended to be worried that he was going crazy like we agreed. I told him that we're all in love with you, but you rejected all of us, and he has nothing to worry about. What's this nonsense about his cousin? I'm telling you, I've seen him 4 times in the last 2 weeks, and I'd never seen him in town before. Maybe I'm paranoid, but I think he's following me. That's strange. I know he suspects something's going on, but he can't figure out what. Did Tom say anything to you? No, not since he last asked if everything was okay between us. That really upset me. I love him, but he'll never understand, so he mustn't find out what we did. I agree. Tom's a good guy. If he finds out, he'll be really hurt. Amy nodded and said, Okay. Well, I've got about an hour. You want the usual? Yeah, baby, Brad said, starting to take off his clothes. As usual, I need $200 cash, and I'll charge $75 to your card for Buster, Amy said, following Brad into the bedroom. Brad was a little faster than usual that day, so they just lay in bed and talked. Brad, you need to tell the other guys to be careful and not say anything stupid around Tom. We had a good time, and you were very generous. But I'm going to quit my little side business in a couple of months. Quit? Why the hell would you want to do that? I'm almost at my goal, the $12,000 I need to pay for our surprise trip to Hawaii. I'm hoping Tom will get me pregnant while we're on the trip. I'll have to stop taking the pill, and I can't risk one of you guys screwing up, Amy said with a smirk. I don't believe that could happen. We all have wives. Amy pushed his head away. Hey, what are you doing? Brad, we talked about this. This isn't romance. This is business. Money for special sex, nothing more. Don't make me repeat myself. Brad pouted. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just that you're so beautiful that I sometimes get carried away. Amy stroked his cheek. I know, sweetie. I love all of you guys, and I enjoy spending time with you. But this isn't love. It's just business. Amy got out of bed. I need to wash Buster before I go, and you need to get back to work. I signed you up for 4 weeks starting today, and this will be the last time we do this, she said, pointing to the bed. Damn, I'm going to miss this. What's going to happen when you get pregnant? Amy laughed. I don't think I plan on getting out of the ass-swapping business for good. Well, think about it. I think it would be really sexy to do it with a beautiful pregnant woman, and I'm sure others would want to, too. We could even pay you more. Amy laughed again. Tempting, but I don't want to take any more risks. I love Tom, but he's not like me. For him, sex is always love. He'll never understand our business arrangement, just like all the other wives. Yeah, I understand. Millie and the other wives would go crazy if they found out. While Amy was washing the dog, she thought about how her first time with Brad had happened. He had been hitting on her every time she came to groom his dog. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and told him to behave himself. She said that if she didn't need the money, she would have turned him down as a client. As a result, he offered her extra tips if she let him cuddle up to her while she worked. Amy thought it was pretty pathetic, but it would help her save up for her vacation faster, so she agreed. Once a month, Brad played poker with Tim, Frank, and Roland. Not too often, but sometimes Tom joined them. A few days passed, and Tim called him and asked if his story was true. Then, as expected, the other two called, and soon Amy had new care orders from 3 more of her casual acquaintances. She met with each of them and explained what she would be doing and why it would only be once a month for no more than 6 months. Amy was making about $800 a month from her side business and another $1,200 to $1,400 a month from dog sitting. She knew that all 4 of her clients would be careful because they were all married with children and no one wanted to get divorced. She felt some guilt about cheating on Tom, but to her, it was just a service. Like walking dogs, nothing more. She loved Tom and planned to have children with him. Her body belonged only to him, and she never denied him. It only took her a few weeks to achieve her goal, and then she quit her side job to focus on having a baby. Tom. I was sitting at my desk reviewing financial reports when my cell phone rang. I looked at the vibrating phone. It was my cousin Chuck. I wondered why he was calling. Hi, Chuck. How can I help you? Hey, Tom. I just watched a movie and it got me thinking about what you asked me a few weeks ago. Listen, Chuck, that's all in the past. We didn't find anything and I got over my paranoia. Amy and I are fine now. Glad to hear things are working out for you. After watching the movie, I thought maybe I missed something, but it sounds like you've moved on. So sorry I called. Tom was about to end the conversation when he heard a quiet voice in his head telling him to be careful. He sighed loudly. Okay, Chuck. What did you see that made you think you missed something? Well, in the movie, one guy was a real estate agent, but he was actually selling drugs. God, Chuck, Amy doesn't sell drugs. I know, just listen. The guy came to the house to look at a potential buyer, but the buyer wasn't there for the house. He was there for the drugs. The cops who were following the real estate agent were sitting outside while he was in the house selling drugs and pretending to sell the house. Amy's not a real estate agent. Listen, Chuck, I have to get back to work. Tom, I know she's not a real estate agent, but she goes into people's houses and stays there for an hour or more. Sometimes she's in her trailer, but sometimes she's inside. You can't see her. Tom's mind was racing, his old paranoia returning. Damn it. Did you write down what kind of dogs she had in the trailer and what kind were in the house? No, but in the video where she arrives and leaves, you can see her going into the trailer if she uses it. Do you still have that video? No, I threw it all away. You didn't keep a copy? You told me to throw it away. Chuck, I know you liked watching her, so if you kept it, I'm not mad. I'll go through everything and find all the information about her stops at the house. Can you stop by on your way home? Sure. I'll leave early and be at your place by 4 o'clock. Will that be enough time to go through everything? Yeah, I know everything, so I can do it pretty quickly. See you at 4 o'clock. God, Tom thought. Chuck is probably watching the tapes and spying on Amy. Poor guy. He needs a job. And a girlfriend. So, in the 2 weeks that I've been watching her, she's only had 3 orders. I have video of her being met at each house. The first is a little girl, followed fairly quickly by an older woman who I assume is her grandmother or nanny. The second is a man who lets her in but leaves 10 minutes later. His face is clearly visible as he drives away from the driveway. I guess he's just giving her a ride, and she leaves the house on her own and closes the door behind her. Of course, I don't know if anyone else was in the house, but you can see that she closes the front door herself. At the third house, the man lets her in and then leaves about an hour later. Then Amy comes out of the house alone. Here's a video of the man driving away and her coming out 30 minutes later. Chuck stopped the recording and turned to Tom, who was frozen, staring at the blank screen. He waited for Tom to say something, but Tom continued to stare at the screen. "Cousin? Tom, are you okay?" When he didn't answer, I took out my phone and opened the calendar. There was a note about Amy's meeting next month. I looked at Chuck and pointed to the screen. "The last house has a bedroom on the first floor. Do you think we can look inside without attracting the police?" Probably, but if the curtains are drawn, I won't be able to see anything. Do you think it's that guy?" "Maybe, but he's our friend, so maybe it's nothing. Although he did admit that he likes her, so maybe... She's supposed to go back there tomorrow. Can you follow her and see what's going on?" "Yeah, sure. But if they're having fun there, they're not likely to use the master bedroom." "Okay, just do what you can, but don't get caught. Amy might recognize you and figure out I sent you." "Okay, this time I'll wear a disguise and take my mom's minivan. Besides, I know where she's going and what time she'll be there, so I don't need to follow her. I'm not very good at following cars, and she might have noticed me last time." "She did notice. Why didn't you tell me when that happened?" "Well, I wasn't sure, and I was afraid you'd make me quit. I'm sorry, cousin. I really need the money." "Damn, just be careful not to get caught, okay?" Chuck knew that Amy was supposed to arrive at 10 o'clock the next morning, so at 9:30, he turned onto the street 1 block from Brad's house. The night before, he had scouted the area and found a passageway to the neighbor's backyard, where the bushes bordered Brad's back fence. He parked so he could see between the 2 houses and spot Brad's back patio door. Chuck figured Brad would let the dog out shortly before Amy arrived. Then, when she showed up, the dog would be too busy to notice him sneaking around the backyard. The dog was still outside when Amy arrived. Buster went crazy, barking and jumping at the door. Amy opened the patio door and let the dog in, and it jumped on her. Chuck waited about 2 minutes, then ran across the lawn to the back corner of the house. He quietly crept up to the bedroom window and cursed when he saw that the blinds were closed. He knew there were 2 more windows on the side of the house, but he was afraid he would be easily seen from the street. As he stood pressed against the back wall of the house, Brad's neighbor on the other side of the house let her dog out. The dog rushed to the fence and barked. Chuck had no choice but to jump over the fence and slide along the house to the first window. The blinds were closed, but not completely. He positioned the camera so that it looked through a gap in the blinds and started recording. He pressed himself against the house and froze. He was afraid that any movement would give him away. He filmed blindly through the window because he couldn't risk leaning over to look at the camera. He slowly moved the camera, hoping to capture the entire room. He froze when he saw an elderly couple walking down the street. He waited until they were out of sight. Looking down the street and seeing no one, he rushed to the road and ran down the street. He rounded the block and returned to his car. He was breathing heavily from the adrenaline rush, started the car, and drove away. Chuck was still driving home when his cell phone rang. "Hello? Did you see anything?" "I didn't see anything, but there might be something on the video from the room." "What do you mean, might be? Did you take the video or not?" Chuck explained, then said, "I haven't looked at it yet. I'm still driving home." "No, don't go home. Come here. We'll look at it in my office. I'll call reception. They'll let you in." 15 minutes later, Chuck handed me the camera and I connected it to my laptop. The video started with a shot of the side of the bed. At the top of the frame, I could make out someone's knees and shins, but nothing else. A few seconds later, the camera moved, and only the side of the bed was visible. I sighed in disappointment. "Damn, this is useless. There's nothing here." As soon as I said that, The camera moved again, and two bodies flashed across the frame. Then the camera captured the ceiling fan above the bed. "What was that? Can we go back and pause it?" I asked, reaching for the built-in keyboard. "Wait!" Chuck pulled his hand away. "Wait a second!" The camera moved again, and the air rushed out of my lungs as I exhaled bitterly. "Damn it!" Chuck turned off the camera and disconnected it from the laptop. He pulled the flash drive he had asked for out of the laptop and handed it to Tom. "I'm so sorry, cousin. I hoped I was wrong." He patted his cousin on the shoulder, grabbed his equipment, and left Tom's office. Across town, Brad sat in his office, staring out the window and talking on the phone. "Yeah, man, she said she's leaving. She wants to surprise Tom with a trip to Hawaii and get pregnant there. I tried, but she's made up her mind. I guess she'll tell you everything next week when you see her." "Yeah, well, damn it, try to talk her out of it." "Yeah, okay. Bye, Tim." "Damn it!" he shouted, punching the table with his fist. Brad knew he was seriously in love with Amy. He didn't care that he had to pay her for sex. Back at Brad's house, the housekeeper Marjorie began tidying up the bedding in the master bedroom. Of course, she noticed the fresh stains, but that was to be expected. She had seen them several times before when she came to clean the house. You would think the owners would be embarrassed to leave them for her to clean up, but no. She made the bed and moved on. She put the sheets in the washing machine, thinking they would wash while she cleaned the rest of the house. Her gaze fell on the wet stains again, and she thought, rich people have no shame. Sitting at the table, I couldn't collect my thoughts, trying to understand what I had seen in the video. I spent a couple of weeks convincing myself that I was just being paranoid and that Amy was not cheating on me. Now reality had hit me in the face. Amy had been cheating on me with my ex-friend Brad. My heart was breaking from the pain of knowing that I had been betrayed by my wife and the man I considered a friend. The shock was intense. Amy had never shown any interest in Brad, so why did she give in to his advances? It didn't make any sense. She clearly wasn't under his influence and didn't seem intoxicated, so there were no excuses. She cheated of her own free will. As I sat there thinking about my next move, a terrible thought struck me. What if there are others? Brad warned me that all my friends were hitting on Amy. What if Brad isn't the only snake in the garden? Damn it! I'm going to need Chuck's help again. Over the next 4 weeks, Chuck gathered videos of Amy with Tim, Roland, and Frank. I was stunned to learn that the guys I once considered friends had all slept with my wife. The humiliation was deep and extremely painful, but I had to pretend everything was fine at home while I gathered all the evidence. I came home at the usual time, and Amy said she was taking us to my favorite steakhouse for dinner. I was wary, but I went along, putting on a fake smile. When we got home, Amy sat me down on the couch and pulled out brochures for a trip to Hawaii. She excitedly explained how she had been saving up for the trip and that everything was already planned and paid for. She had even called my boss and told him about the surprise, so my vacation was fully approved. I was a little stunned by the news of the trip. We had talked about taking a trip like this many times, but because of the cost, we had put it off until we could save more money. Now Amy was telling me about her plans with excitement, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Honey, I've got it all figured out. I stopped taking birth control pills, so when we get to Hawaii, I should be ovulating. We'll make love twice a day and I'll come home pregnant with our baby. Isn't that the most romantic thing you've ever heard?" I mentally revised my plans, then turned to my wife. "Yes, I think that will work." Amy squealed and jumped into my arms. "Come on, let's go practice conceiving a baby." I decided she was still safe and knew I couldn't say no to her, so I slept with her twice and then allowed myself to fall asleep. Sally Hawk watched the video and listened to my request. "So, you want her to be handed the papers at the airport and the video to be given to the 4 wives at the same time as the guys get the fake separation papers?" "Yes, they'll all be at the airport for a big farewell party. I've booked a limo to pick them up and take all 4 couples to the airport. We've reserved tables in the Flyers Lounge. So there will be drinks, snacks, and a large banner that says, "Goodbye, EMI," which will be unfurled when the bailiff hands her the documents. The fake lawsuits are just for show, but I want to throw the guys off balance. I've never had an assignment like this before, but it should be quite a spectacle. When do you want the bailiff to arrive? Right when her flight is announced, which is at 1 p.m. on Saturday. The big day arrived, and all the cheaters and their unhappy spouses gathered in the Flyers Lounge at the airport. All the luggage had been checked in ahead of time, including some of Amy's personal items, which she had packed in a suitcase, thinking I might need them. I kept a close eye on the clock, and a few minutes before the waiter was due to arrive, I stood up and asked everyone to pay attention. "Amy, you have been the love of my life since we met almost 9 years ago. When you started your pet care business, I was very proud of your efforts. You worked tirelessly to turn your business into a profitable and thriving enterprise." I knew that phrase would make some guys smirk. When you decided to spend all your profits on this wonderful vacation, I was very happy. So I've prepared a small gift to show my appreciation to each of you. Now, while my assistant hands out the gifts, let's all raise our glasses to Amy and wish her a happy trip. I nodded slightly, and a large banner unfolded above our heads just as Amy received the envelope and heard my assistant say, "It's your turn." I turned to my wives and said, "Ladies, I sincerely apologize for the drama and wish you all the best." With that, I turned and walked away, just as Amy's flight was announced. Chaos erupted behind me, with everyone shouting at each other. Amy was screaming my name, but I didn't look back. Since I had done everything Sally had advised me to do before we separated, I didn't have to talk to Amy until our first meeting at Sally's office. The lawyers had been arguing for a long time, and today we were going to settle everything and sign the papers. Amy insisted that I agree to listen to her for 30 minutes after the meeting. I just assumed she wanted to explain how she had ruined our marriage. As part of her preparation, Sally had hired a real private investigator to look into Chuck's work, and he uncovered the financial shenanigans my soon-to-be ex-wife had been up to with her 4 girlfriends. It was a shock to learn that I had been living with a prostitute for almost a year, but it helped kill any remaining feelings I still had for Amy. Sally also told me that Amy didn't get on the plane that day. Her tickets were unused and her vacation was canceled without a refund. When we gathered around the conference table, Amy tried to talk to me, but I ignored her until everything was signed. After the lawyers shook hands, we were left alone. I sat down across from her and just stared at her. "Thank you for agreeing to talk to me. I'm sorry I hurt you. I still don't understand why you divorced me. What I did didn't mean anything. It was just a business arrangement, a favor, nothing more. You're the only man I've ever loved, and the only one I'll ever truly love. Tom, please, we're so good together. Please, baby, why can't we just forget about it? It was just a meaningless deal." I raised my hand to stop her. "Amy, I believe you. When you agreed to sell your ass to those guys, I know it didn't mean anything to you. For you, it was like agreeing to let them wash your feet or paint your toenails. It was an intimate act, but it had no real consequences for anyone. Am I right?" Her tear-stained face lit up. "Yes. My God, you really understand. It was meaningless." I raised my hand again. "Yes, it took me a while to understand, but I completely understand that what you did was just a meaningless deal. For you. But it meant so much more to me. Let me ask you something, Amy. When you agreed to sell your ass, did you think I would agree to your deal?" She lowered her head. "That's the problem. It may not have meant anything to you, but you knew damn well that it would mean everything to me, and you did it anyway." I stood up, threw $200 bills on the table in front of Amy, and said, "Thanks for your time. Here's your usual fee." Then I turned and walked out. As I left, I reminded myself that I had to see through my plans for revenge against Brad and the others, but I wasn't in a hurry. Their time hadn't come yet.